Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today I am making this double-sided gnome keychain. If you're interested in checking out either of the patterns that I used to make this, I will leave the links to both of them in the description of this video. So here you can see I was just counting out my bass strings, and now I'm starting to knot the actual pattern. So the first side that I made was the red gnome, or the one with like the red hat. And it kind of looks like a Santa hat when I first started knotting it. Normally when you make a keychain that is double-sided like I did, you make the first side upside down and then you add the key ring and then you do the second side right side up. But as you can see here, I did not do that. When I first started making this bracelet, or when I first started knotting this pattern, I thought that the pattern would end up being like the size of a bracelet. I haven't made very many alpha patterns, so I didn't really know how long it would end up being. And then once I finished, it wasn't as long as I thought it would be, so I could either like make the pattern again and then there would just be two gnomes and then it would be as long as a bracelet, or I decided I could turn it into a keychain, and that's what I did. So I'm not very experienced at making alpha bracelets. I've only made like 3. But in the last one that I made, I tried using the flat alpha color change, and that's what I was using here too. And I don't know, I really like the flat alpha color change. I just think it makes the bracelet more flat, obviously, but then also it makes the back more organized. And for me, like when I would do the normal alpha color change, the threads on the back would get all tangled up, and I don't know, there would just be like loops of thread that got tangled around another color while I was knotting with the other color. Does that make sense? Probably not. But yeah, I definitely like the flat alpha color change for making alphas. So here you can see I finished the first gnome, I added the keyring, and now I'm working on the second one. I'm not sure how well you can see it, but in the hat of this design there are 2 different shades of green. And when I picked out the colors, I thought that you would be able to tell the difference between the 2 shades of green, but you really can't. They look very similar. And in real life you can tell the difference a little bit better, but I think I would have chosen colors that were a little bit more different if I had known that they would look so similar. So here I finished both sides of them, but the side with the red gnome was a little bit shorter than the other one, so I just had to do a few extra rows of knots so that they would be the same length, and when I sewed them together, it would, I'd be able to sew them together and they would fold over nicely. So to sew the keychain together, I've seen people use just normal sewing thread, but I just wanted to use the embroidery thread that I did for the bass strings so that it would look like it's the same color. And so embroidery thread usually comes with 6 threads that are all twisted together to make one strand of embroidery thread. So I just split it in half. So I took 3 threads and I threaded that through the needle, which took a very long time. And then I just sewed together the 2 halves of the bracelet. So I cut out most of me sewing it together because it took a really long time for me to do it and to figure out how to do like a stitch that would look good. But here you can see I'm just finishing that up, and I am doing the tassels. So I decided I wanted to tie the bass strings into 2 groups for the tassels. And you can see I'm just trying to split it evenly and tie them so that it looks good on both sides. And yeah, once I did that, I just cut off the bass strings and we're done. So that's the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing, and I will see you next time.